when you think about going abroad, it's important to figure out where you want to go. And typically for an American company, that means, are you going to go to Europe, or are you going to go to Asia? There might be some businesses where Latin America is first, but most of the time, and keeping in mind that my background is more high-tech, you are probably heading either to Europe or to Asia. Don't do both at the same time if you're a startup. That probably is going to create more trouble than it's worth. If you are, or as you are picking through the possibilities, think of markets, real markets, meaning dollars spent on your particular product, as opposed to population. Everyone always said, oh my God, I have to go to China because there's 1.3 billion people there. Well, yes, but there's only maybe 300 million that have any kind of money to spend on things that Westerners have to sell. And that's a lot better than it was 10 years ago. I personally think that geographical closeness is extremely important. Even in today's day and age, people think that everything can be done electronically, in telephones and Skype, and all that is true. At the end of the day, you will have to fly over there very often. The trip from here to Asia is not fun. I've done it many, many, many times. And to Singapore, it's about 24 hours door to door. Tokyo is a little bit better. Europe, on the other hand, is 6.5, 7 hours. Much easier to get to. Think about the time zone overlap. I always tell European entrepreneurs who have all kinds of stars in their eyes about going to California, oh my God, I'll be there, and it's the beach, and the sunshine, it's wonderful. And I say, well, that is all true, but think about the time difference. You have 9 hours time difference, and you may work around the clock as the entrepreneur, but your staff probably will not. So a lot of decisions will always be kicked back to the next day or the following day when they could be addressed the same day. Yes?
How much would you consider balancing the strategic with opportunistic? When you do this kind of analysis, let's say you find out that Europe really is, for U.S., is the better choice, but you have some contacts in Asia, and you have maybe a client or someone you're doing business with. There's only enough money to choose one or the other. Any thoughts on balancing the strategic with the opportunistic?
This is an excellent point, because I've seen all the time. People say, I have a client. My first client is here, therefore I'm going to co-locate right next to a client. Great place to be. And my answer to that is absolutely not. If the client happens to be in a logical place, well, that's okay. The client is in Boston, you are in enterprise software, certainly that's okay. In my background, the client happened to be in Richmond, Virginia, and the German company set up their U.S. or wanted to set up the U.S. headquarters right next to the client in Richmond. They said, look, guys, look at the airport. There's only one airline serving, or just about one airline serving that airport. Every ticket is going to cost you a fortune. You have to change planes to get to major business destinations. It's going to take you a lot longer. You won't find any talent there other than semiconductor specialists, because there was a semiconductor plant. Don't do that. And they ended up locating here in Boston. And then when they had to see their client, Boston, Richmond is not a big deal. So that is the small answer about a particular situation. I think when you have to balance the opportunistic with the strategic, if a particular customer will literally pay the bills for quite a while, then that's fine, and I've been in that situation. Make sure that you don't box yourself in, and that's actually going to be one of my last points. These early clients have a tendency to monopolize your attention and to force you to customize to their needs. For instance, IBM, even though we are in their location, is a terrible first client, and so is Intel. People say, oh my God, I've landed Intel as a first customer. Nothing could be worse, because they will force you to customize it to their needs, and then you can't sell it to anyone else anymore. So you have to balance these kind of choices very carefully together with people who've been there, and say, well, maybe we can negotiate with the client. We can give him 80% of what he wants, and then keep the other 20% for us, so to speak. So that's my answer. There are no hard answers there. But rather than going full blast into that opportunistic direction, I would step back, think about it, and see if we cannot find common ground.